A person suffering from depression will have a pervasive, persistent low mood. It will initially start off with disturbance in biological functioning, that is your sleep and your appetite. Either it increases or decreases, or it fluctuates depending on the person. A person may get less number of sleep, that we can sometimes call it insomnia, which is secondary to your primary diagnosis, which is depression. So you might get, let's say if the person was sleeping for 8 hours, he tends to sleep less than 8 hours, and sleep is not refreshing. So you wake up very tired, very fatigued. Sometimes that is commonly termed as laziness. The person is not active enough. It's just that the person is extremely fatigued to the point that even getting down from the bed and starting the day seems like a humongous task. In turn, or the person can even sleep much more than 8 hours, completely lying on the bed. Not that he's in deep sleep, it's just that he is in a sleepy or drowsy mode because there is no energy. In terms of appetite, the person tends to binge eat because you're not hungry. The eating cycles become very disrupted, or sometimes you don't feel appetite at that appetite at all, so you tend to lose weight. The symptoms are not very objectively measurable. It depends on subjective explanation. So there is mild, moderate and severe. In moderate to severe cases, a person loses the will to live, so often it is accompanied by death wishes. It can be passive, it can be active. So the person is like, I don't want to actively commit suicide, but if death happens to me, nothing better like that. Alone depression is very hard to find because pure depression is only theoretically found. Depression is often accompanied by anxiety. If you're anxious, you will either feel that hot flushes, or your hands or your limbs become numb or cold. These are certain signs of anxiety. Then comes your therapy part. We usually start off with relaxation, because if your body is going through a lot of changes, you wouldn't be able to concentrate on your thoughts. That is very difficult. It's like with the broken feet, we are asking you to walk or run. In that situation, we have to first relax the person. So basic form of relaxation therapies like progressive muscular relaxation starts off with deep breathing. Once that is done, then we go on to the cognition part. CBT is very much effective. Lot of research has been done. It has been empirically proved very effective over the long term. So it attacks the causes of depression and anxiety. Along with that, the third wheel in the treatment is lifestyle management. It doesn't per se attack the causes, but it helps in making the symptoms much better. If I have a very sedentary lifestyle and I'm thinking I'm good for nothing, it's contradictory to each other. So what we usually start off with is, again, very simple, is lifestyle management. Let's say trying to regularize the routine, basic sleep, hygiene. What you're eating is also very important. Certain vitamin deficiency like B12, D3 contributes towards stress. That needs to be managed. And henceforth, gradually we climb up the ladder in terms of intensity. Comparison between what was the person prior to depression to now what he is makes no sense, because we are talking about an illness that requires very gradual progression of treatment. It didn't develop within one day. It's not going to go in one day. Even as simple as at workplace, if your boss is very unpredictable, today he is in a good mood, tomorrow he is not. So that unpredictability causes a lot of anxiety. So you and I might not have depression, but it starts from there.